This video will cover everything that I've figured out about this character in the 60 minutes that I've had her. Notable normals. 2P. Can chain into 6P for a combo, or if you have super, it also confirms with a super. 6P is your typical anti-air. 5K and 2K both chain into 2D, which is really good. 2S is a crazy looking anti-air. 6H is a decent poke, but it'll whiff against crouching characters from most ranges. 2D is insane. Jump S is insane, especially after her insane air dash. And Jump D is a projectile for some reason. Alright, let's jump straight into her special moves. Her only quote-unquote normal special move is quarter kick. This is literally just a kick that launches the opponent away. Its most notable property is that if you kick a minion with it, it does that. Its second most notable property is that it actually cancels into her other weirder special moves, like this one, even on block. She has one relatively normal super move. This is a pretty quick unblockable command grab, although the opponent can jump out of it after the super flash. But it is also invincible on startup, so you can use it as a reversal on wake up. And in the corner, it does cause a wall break, although it looks a little bit weird. And now the weird stuff. At the start of the round, notice the gauge next to Jacko's feet. It starts at 1 and builds up slowly to 3. This is the servant gauge, and she uses it to perform her special moves. For most special moves, it takes a little bit less than 3 seconds for the gauge to fill 1 bar. Although specifically if you summon a minion, it takes a little bit longer. It takes about 3.5 seconds. Speaking of summons, quarter P is summon servant. You can have up to 3 servants out at once. And if I try to summon a 4th one, it stops working. Servants last about 8 seconds, although you can hit them, and every time you hit them, the timer gets reduced by 4 seconds. Also, if the opponent ever hits them, they get destroyed immediately. This is also her only special move that is not usable in the air. All of her other special moves, including that kick from earlier, are usable in the air, although none of her supers are usable in the air. So as stated earlier, striking a servant causes it to be flung across the screen. Their trajectory is greatly determined by the move that you used to hit them, with the quarter kick being the most notable. Although you can cancel this animation early with her commands, which I'll talk about shortly. And also note that servants will finish whatever animation they're doing before despawning. So even if a minion has like 2 frames left before it despawns, you can hit it and do your commands, and it'll complete all of its animations before going away. In general, servants will automatically stay in place and turn to face the opponent. When near a servant, you can press 2P to pick it up. Keep in mind that down back or down forward plus P will not work. You have to press straight down plus punch. The servant's timer does not tick down while held, which means that I can just walk back and forth forever if I wanted to, and he will not despawn. However, Jacko cannot block while holding a minion, although she can dash in both directions, jump, double jump, and even air dash. Also, when summoning, if you hold the button down, she will automatically pick it up when summoning it. And if you press the D button, she drops the servant. Dropping the minion is really, really fast. She has almost no recovery animation there at all. Or if you press forward plus any of the 5 attack buttons, she will throw it across the screen. Jacko has 4 servant commands, and they all cost 1 stock of the servant gauge when used. Quarter circle back and punch is the recall, so if she has a minion out and she uses it, the minion is recalled. She gains 1 stock of the servant gauge back for each minion that she recalls, although do note that it still costs 1 stock of the gauge to use. Quarter circle back and kick is the attack command, so all servants will attack the opponent. This move is stupidly good. Quarter circle back and S is the defensive command, so for a brief moment all servants will shield themselves and become immune to the opponent's attacks. If the opponent does attack, they get staggered, which opponents can block during staggers in this game, but they cannot defend against command grabs. And remember, she has a super command grab. Quarter circle back and H is the self-destruct command. So after using it, they will self-destruct after 3 seconds. This does quite a bit of damage and launches the opponent, but keep in mind that it can hit you as well. Also remember that even during this time, they can still hit it out of the air and cancel the explosion early. Now there is an alternate input for all 4 commands, which is to, when holding a minion, if you hold any direction that isn't forward and then press one of the 4 attack buttons, she will do the corresponding command. So if I press kick, the minion will attack while she's holding it. Something special about this is that if I do it, the command will apply to all minions, but unlike the other method of activation, I can use the command over and over again even if I don't have enough servant gauge. Although keep in mind that if I don't have enough servant gauge, only the one that I'm holding will follow the command. And finally, Jacko's weird super. This super has 2 versions. Both versions last 6 seconds and pause the servant timer, which means that the servants will last 6 seconds longer than normal. And also during those 6 seconds, the servant timer will not fall even if Jacko hits them, which means that she can continually hit them over and over again, and they will not go away. So then what's the difference between the 2 versions? The S version equips your servants with a mask. After those 6 seconds are over, your minions lose the mask. Masked minions cannot be hit by the opponent. And the heavy slash version buffs the servant gauge to fill much quicker, thus letting you summon minions more quickly and do minion actions more quickly. Needless to say, things can get out of hand very quickly when using that super. And that's just about everything that I learned about Jacko from just 1 hour of playing her. If I've missed anything, please let me know.